A win's a win, right? What's good, guys? Welcome back to Behind the Dugouts for your match review of Chelsea 2, Lincoln City 1. Or should I say Prime Barcelona, because that's what they made it look like last night. Boy, did we make a tough job. Look, most important thing out of this is that we have, won the game. We've gone through to the next round. But man, did we make it difficult for ourselves. Come out of this game really having more questions than answers, and even questions that I didn't even know I had about this team. And it's not given much of a positive vibe looking into the Brighton game and going forward. In fact, I have to admit, in this game, we looked even worse. And it seems to be going game by game now, where we're getting sort of worse and worse as it goes on. And I didn't think I'd come out of this game, and I can't believe I'm actually going to say this, wanting Robert Sanchez back. We had Dracula in goal last night. It was ridiculous. The guy couldn't claim a cross to save his life. It was horrendous. And it's a lot of different performances in this game that just were not good. And I get it. It's a second string team. Lots of players haven't had many minutes, Jorgensen being one of them. But when you're going up against, and I'm going to give props to Lincoln because they are a League One side, but my God, did they not make it look like that last night? They looked like a proper team that should be a lot higher than they were. So I have to give them props because they pegged us back. That first 45 minutes was all Lincoln. All Lincoln. They were all over us. And tell me, right, how you have 76% possession, but no control. No control of the game whatsoever. But you got the majority of the ball. Make it make sense. Because I don't understand it. And Lincoln absolutely pegged us back in that first half. And we're all over us. Probably should have been more than 1-0. They were unlucky, didn't, finish their dinner in some sense. What a hell of a strike for the first goal. But I mean, come on, man. Don't play with me like that. Don't play. I don't care if it's second string or players that ain't played. They should still be able to be at the quality to dispatch a team like Lincoln. And I get it, this cup is full of upsets. We've had one, as I mentioned in my preview, with Man United and Grimsby, but you still go into these games, the money that we spent, and we know that's sort of rife in all conversations when it comes to Chelsea. You should expect enough quality, even in a second string, to a B team, a C team, to get through. It's similar to how we operated in the Conference League. But it just, man, same defensive issues. Defense was shocking. We've got to talk about Enzo Fernandez, haven't we? Like, I was calling for it in my preview that I think maybe he needs a little bit of time out of the team. Take him out of the limelight, give him a rest, maybe bring him on as an impact sub later in games. But at the moment, he's impacting us negatively, going forward and defensively. He was a fault mainly for their goal. And we can talk about the Trevor Chalobah, but the whole reason that came about was because Enzo Fernandez. And it's not like it's the first time. He's doing it quite often. So I think for him, personally, he needs a bit of time out of the team. I think for the team's sake, he needs some time out. But I also don't think it's going to be done. I think you'll see him start again on the weekend against Brighton. And I think from Maresca's point of view, I understand, experience. He may not fully trust the likes of Andre Santos yet, who I thought had a pretty good game yesterday. You've got to take the dive, mate. You've got to give him some time away. So it'd be interesting to see how that one's played out. But I think he has looked poor from even back in the preseason. And I know he came back later and didn't even play in the first one, but he hasn't improved since then. He doesn't look like he's any fitter. And if anything, like I said, he's hindering us in a lot of areas at the moment. So I think some time out would be good for him. Obviously disappointed about Josh. I think he definitely would have started. He was sick. That's the only reason he wasn't even on the bench. But I'm gutted for him because that would have been a great game for him. And I think defensively, we probably would have looked a little bit more solid. Hato, it was okay. Not amazing. I think he was used better in this game than he was against Brentford. It was a better setup for him, and the way that the defense was operating was better for him, better suited for him. So it made him look a bit better. Going forward, look, we got to talk about Tyreek George. Now, I don't like him playing up front. I don't think it's his best position. I don't think he looks comfortable playing there. But once again, the lad has pulled it out the bag for Chelsea completely. Scored an absolute worldy goal, similar to how it was against Fulham, 1-0 down. He comes up with a blinding shot, puts it in the back of the net, and again is the catalyst for the second goal. Him and Buonanotte, who I have to say was very invisible in the first half. Both of them didn't really get on the ball, didn't really create much, didn't really do anything. And then we got like 5 to 10 minutes of heaven in the second half, you know, pretty much 5 to 10 minutes of heaven and 85 minutes of hell. That's what that game was. I had to bleach my eyeballs afterwards. I felt like my eyeballs had been violated watching that game last night. It was, yeah, I can't even say horrendous so many times, but it was bad in terms of a performance wise. But as I said, result is the most important thing in terms of moving forward. But yeah, Tyreek George, again, coming up, saving the day for that small little spell. And sometimes that's all you need with against teams like Chelsea and, top side, it's these little moments. And there was a moment in there of that 10-minute period where they took it, went on top, and were clinical, got those 2 goals. And I have to give props to him, a player that was pretty much out the door. And sometimes it's difficult, when you're on the exit and it was just a matter of, I think, paperwork that didn't get done in time. So he was basically there in a Fulham kit. And sometimes when things like that fall through, players can never pick themselves back up to, perform. Surprisingly, he's getting more minutes than I thought he would have, even if he wasn't sold. You know what I mean? He's actually getting more minutes. He seems to be more trusted by Maresca, which I get because he's used him in the Conference League last year. He brought him from the academy and made him a first team player. So I do get the trust from Maresca, and I don't think there's any animosity between them because he's still getting minutes. And it's one of those. I still think George will leave. I think in January he'll be revisited again. But if he's coming on and in times of need where we need something special and he's producing it. So I'm happy for that. Again, young player to be doing that for a top club and being the main reason that we've gotten through. It's going to do his confidence like massively. In terms of the wingers, I think Gittins was the better winger today. He was looking better than he has in previous games. Still need a lot more from him. Garnacho was okay in the first half, didn't really do much in the second half, and probably why he came off. I also think they've got an eye for him to start the Brighton game on the weekend. But still, you can see the massive difference when Esteval come on the pitch. Like he looked miles and leaps above Garnacho and Gittins immediately. What he was doing on the ball, the way he was taking on players, just even his physical body strength. And Esteval's a small lad. He's got like no meat on the bones. He's a real skinny lad. Doesn't look like physically he would be able to cope, but he did. And it's one of those tests, when you go down to the lower league, they're generally a lot more physical. And he dealt with it. And you can see that he is levels above. And that's why that I say he is like our best winger. Him and Neto are definitely got to be our starting wingers currently. But the fact of the matter is, guys, like, yes, we've got through. But this was a time, a moment for the team, for Maresca, to instill a little bit more confidence through the team, through the fan base, and go out there and at least put on a semi decent performance. No, but if anything, it's sort of made things worse. Like yes, we've got through, but the performance has gotten worse, and we're looking at Brighton going, they played last night, won 6-0. Have we got enough? Can we trust our defence enough to go and get the job done against Brighton? Because make no mistakes, Brighton is a must win. We cannot be dropping more points against Brighton. We've got Liverpool the week after. So we have to pick up 3 points against Brighton because if we start getting in this rut of dropping points and it continues, we've got a hell of a hill to climb, a very big hill to climb. So we need to start turning things around. And is this Lincoln game maybe a turning point, even though it was a bad performance? We got over the line. Could be. Could be. Well, only time will tell, and we'll see on Saturday when we play Brighton. But there are, as I said, there's some questions that need to be answered very, very fast. And hopefully, Brighton game comes on the weekend. We can answer those questions. But look, guys, I'd love to get your thoughts on this one. How did you think this game went? Any star performances from you? let me know in the comments below. Love to chat to you about it. But for now, take care of yourselves, guys. If you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. Join me on this journey. But for now, take care of yourselves, and I will catch you in the next one.